Welcome to the Super Expander podcast. My name is Corey Phelps, your host. I'm a business and growth coach, money mindset expert, and a multi-passionate entrepreneur. My journey has taken me all over, from working in finance to owning a boutique fitness studio. I found myself burnt out, miserable, and questioning everything. Saying things to myself like, there's got to be more to life than this. Refusing to settle for a mediocre existence, I went all in, learning how to harness untapped potential and rewire the subconscious mind to create an extraordinary life. The last 10 years have been a crash course in self-love, building a business, creating community, building wealth, and doing what it takes to just freaking go for it. My mission is to help you align to your purpose, rewire your subconscious to support your big dreams and vision, and create a life that you're absolutely obsessed with. So sit back, tune in, and prepare to expand. Samantha Harper is a highly regarded sound bowl practitioner who utilizes trauma-informed approaches to healing. She's also an executive conscious leadership coach who uses sound healing to help high-performance leaders increase their efficiency and impact through her creative approach to coaching. Samantha taps into her intuitive gifts to lead and guide transformative sound journeys. She holds a master's degree in professional counseling with over 20,000 hours of experience in the clinical setting. Her areas of expertise include expressive art, therapy, and trauma. She has walked with thousands of people in their transformative journey towards developing their inner awareness, honing their authentic vibrational signature, building deeper emotional intelligence, and enhancing their conscious developing, all yielding a measurable result and a sustainable change. Samantha's passion for human potential is evident in her commitment to her clients and their success. I can't wait to share Sam with you today. Hello, Super Expanders. Welcome back. I am feeling all the vibes right now, like literally chills head to toe. I'm so excited because we have with us just the most amazing woman ever. I'm so excited to share with you Sam Harper. And I said Sam because I actually do know Sam. And we were just having a whole conversation about names before we hit record. So welcome to the Super Expander show. Sam, I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to see how this conversation unfolds for us.
Oh, it's going to be fun. I can feel it. We know because you bring all of the energy to everything that you do. And, the Super Expander, that's the whole thing, is all about energy and vibes and all the things. So I have to always give a little bit of context for people to understand like how we even ended up here having this conversation. So Sam and I were in a mastermind together for, I don't know, like how long was that mastermind? 9 months, a year? I don't even remember now. I was in it for several rounds. So it was like this one ongoing thing it just was forever that I was in it. And the thing is, it was such a big mastermind, and I never had a chance to actually get to know Sam personally inside of the mastermind. But we had the good fortune of being at this amazing conference, and I saw that she was going, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to make sure I go say hi when I am there. So we actually got to meet in person, in real life, which is like this whole cool thing that seems to be happening these days now that all the like virtual stuff is kind of starting to take a little bit of a back seat, which was so nice for a while, but now it's really nice to kind of get back to in-person things. So we met at the Alt Summit in person, and here we are now having this conversation.
Yes, what a journey. Geez.
I know, right? I feel like it's good to give a little bit of context so people understand how we know each other.
Yeah.
So, now that they know, we have to share with them who you are deep down on a soul level. Who is Sam?
I think that question is so beautiful and ever evolving, right? I could give you one answer today, and even by the end of this conversation, that answer might be very different. But the way that I identify at a soul level that is just pure energy is a medicine woman. And that's not really a label that I've publicly referred to myself as, but that is how I operate through medicine, and of various different formats, sound being one of them, and energy being another, and just carrying a room and holding space, the medicine of what that looks like and feels like, that is who I am, who I've always been at my core. And I don't know if that will ever change, but probably deepen and expand absolutely into something that I don't even understand just yet.
Oh my gosh, I think you said that perfectly because that is, I think on a soul level, I don't know that thing it at the foundational piece of it actually changes. It's the iterations of how it manifests in the actual physical world. And as our wisdom grows and expands and evolves, it starts to look different. It takes on different shapes, different forms, different, ways of being. So I love that that's the way that you explained it. So your journey then to really connecting to being a medicine woman, like what is that? Tell me more about that. How did you come to know that was like who you are on a soul level? Because I mean, I think connecting to who we are deep down, it's a process.
Absolutely. It's a journey in and of itself, an inner journey more than an external journey. And honestly, this identifier as a medicine woman has recently come to me, although I've known deep in my bones for my whole life. It just feels right in the way of the delivery of that. It feels very potent and expansive. But the journey to get here, gosh, I mean, started out when I was a child, right? And then the evolution of what that looks like. I was a trauma therapist for many, many, many years, and then transitioned into an executive conscious leadership coach, which I still currently do, and a sound healer. And it was through the practice of sound, because it is a practice, much like doctors practice, professional athletes practice. What I do is a beautiful practice. And in that practice, there was a deeper knowing of who I am as I got to know myself and uncover some of the shadow parts of me and the beautiful light parts of me too. And the medicine of what that helped me understand is how I was able to step forward in that. So here I am as this new proclaimed, but not proclaimed. It really is this deep knowing of this ancient wisdom that has lived inside of me of being this medicine woman.
Oh my goodness. Well, first I have to say thanks for speaking it aloud here. You said this is the first time you've declared it. Like I feel like this is a little bit of magic here, right? Happening
Yeah.
on the super expander. I love that. So, okay, let's dive a little bit deeper into the journey. So, what was the tipping point of being like, oh, like this feels right now to like coming forward? You said you've been getting these messages and signs and all the things just recently that this was like in full, I don't know. I don't know if alignment's the right word, but because it's always been a thing, but this was the time to really fully step into it.
Yeah. So as a therapist, I loved what I do, what I did, and I still do a lot of similar practices in what I do now. You can't unknow what you know, right? And I would say it's more of an initiation and an activation into this knowing. I've always known, I've always been in a place where I help people and guide people through really dark parts of life. And back when I was a therapist, the medicine looked different, right? So I was there as a rock and a stable confidant to come to. And that is medicine in and of itself. And that evolved into something very different. And there was a tipping point for me transitioning from being a therapist into what I'm doing now, in that I was having a difficult time separating work and home. Not necessarily burnout, although I definitely was feeling that also, but it became very confusing when to turn off and when to be on as a therapist. And I served sex offenders and sexual abuse survivors. So you can imagine my mind being in that state all of the time and then coming home and having some distortions of what my current reality was. There was an aha moment of, this is no longer sustainable for me. It's no longer healthy for me. And I have to find something that's going to work better. And so I extracted out of that life and worked in nonprofit for a little bit, and then started my own businesses, separating the two silos of conscious leadership development and coaching and my sound healing practice and the energetic work that I did and do. And it was during COVID that the two were able to bridge the gap between these two separate silos of work and combine into one, because all of the executives and leaders that I was working with were seeing themselves for the first time. And they were also sensing that the people they were leading weren't buying into the BS, essentially. And they're like, I can't run away from myself, and I need something deeper. And I have healing to do. And so it was a beautiful invitation for me to come in a role and a space that didn't necessarily welcome in the woo-woo, right? But I always said, like, I bring the woo-woo to the corner office. So it was a beautiful introduction into the alchemy of that, which now leads me to where I'm at right now. And I was just really blessed during COVID to have my business thrive. I know that's not the story for a lot of people, but I have been in a niche spot that I don't think will ever go away. People are always going to want to understand themselves more and need help and guidance to recognize who and what they are. So I just found myself in a really beautiful place and have been gifted with the ability to guide people in the way that I do. So ta-da, here we are. And that's probably going to change a little bit, as the years go on, and as I deepen into my own understanding and knowing, my practice will deepen as well.
Such a beautiful story, all of it. And, fast forward to where we are now. Tell me a little bit more about how you got into sound healing.
It was my own healing journey. I had been out of the field of therapy, and I was going through a divorce, and I found myself in LA at this really cool yoga event, and this rad surfer chick was playing sound bowls at the end of this amazing like Adidas International Yoga Day event, and the sound overtook my entire system. And I was like, what in the heck? What is this? And why don't I know about it? And also, there was a frequency and a tone that really shook me to my core. It frightened me. And that got me really curious about how could a frequency elicit fear within my body. And so I just did a deep dive into all of it. And I come from a background of being like a physics geek and nerd all the way through college. So it started to make sense, the science behind it and how it could transform the body. And so I got into it just for myself and playing for myself. I had never had intentions of really playing for other people, but I had a whole set of bowls and that I had collected over some time, and friends and family would come over, neighbors would come over to my house, and I would play for them. And then it organically grew. Like, friends of neighbors started calling me, asking me how much I charge. And I was like, I have no idea what I can charge for this. And then it developed into a really beautiful business that has organically taken shape. And now it is what I do all the time.
I love it. Sound baths are literally so magical. I love that. So I want to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole, if you will, then, because what you mentioned is that you're a little bit of a physics geek. And then we're talking about these like woo-woo practices. And I want to talk about this because we dance in the same kind of realm. And what I think is really funny is the people that shun these practices that are seen as woo-woo are so rooted in science, because you will often find the people that are almost the woo-wooist, if I know we're not even supposed to be using this word. I think it's actually not. It's like, people might get offended by it. So I'm sorry if it's offending you, but they're oftentimes the most like educated in science, actually.
Right.
So I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of that.
Yes. So I have had a fascination with quantum physics really my whole life. I started college level physics courses in high school and then carried on throughout college and was taking graduate level as I was an undergrad. So when I say I'm a physics geek, I really truly mean it. Did I cry during homework in college? Yes, absolutely. Because it was like so massive. And it's hard to wrap your brain around some of these larger concepts because it is unworldly and it really takes you out of the human experience, really into the ethers. But the ether is all science. And it's so beautiful because the people who don't believe in the woo or the hippie things or these new age, like modern modalities and approaches, I'm like, great, you don't have to believe in that. Let me tell you the science behind it. And so we start talking about how frequency, can change the shape of the chemical formations in your cells and how that can help change you and heal this disease, illnesses, mental instabilities, all of that. It's so incredible. It's so powerful. And so those that don't believe, I'm like, great. Don't believe in that stuff. Let's talk about the actual science behind it.
Yeah, no, I love that. Same. So I teach breath work, and oftentimes people, and you're like, no, I'm going to tell you why. And when you start feeling this is what this is happening inside of your body. And I feel
Right.
like there's so many people that don't believe, but then when you can explain it and break it down on that level, it's like, oh, okay, I can get on board with this.
Right, right. So each of our chakras in our body hold different frequency. And when those are out of alignment, the body feels off. And then you don't understand why you're not feeling on, right? You're like, I don't feel like myself. I feel out of center. I'm foggy. I can't make decisions the way I would normally be able to make decisions. And it's typically because whichever chakra is blocked or maybe overactive or underactive, when you come into alignment, into perfect frequency, as you're matched with a sound bowl, for instance, or a tuning fork even, or a Tibetan bowl, these snap you back into frequency. And then you start to notice, oh, I'm feeling better. Oh, the brain fog is gone. Oh, I'm not feeling anxious. Oh, the depression started going away. And it's difficult to pinpoint if you're new into the game of frequency and sound to point at that's the thing that helped me. But after practicing and sitting in the medicine of sound, which is why it's a medicine, right? It helps heal us, is you start to understand, oh, that frequency actually opened up my heart. Oh, my third eye is expanding. Now my intuition, my gut, my instincts are on fire. And then everything starts to make sense.
I have a question for you. Have you joined the Super Expander free mentorship community? If not, what are you waiting for? Stop what you're doing right now and text the word mentor to 202-918-3235. Text the word mentor to 202-918-3235. I send out weekly tips and inspiration to help you grow your business, to step into your wealthiest, most highest self, to harness your full potential and live an exceptional and extraordinary life. And the best part is it's really me sending those messages. So text me, say hello, and send me your questions. I love it. I love the breakdown. I love being able to talk about both sides because you're like, I'm into all of it, but I also feel like so many people need to hear that. And when they start to hear those pieces, then they're much more open to an experience that they would have never been open to before.
Exactly.
So I have a question. So when you got into your sound healing, you had some things going on like physically, health-wise, that it really shifted and transformed for you, didn't it?
Yes, 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 yes. I'm glad you bring that up. I am a 3-time cancer survivor, and I was in remission for my 3rd cancer when I started into sound healing, which was about 7 years ago. And I honestly, truly believe that, well, for one, I am the healthiest that I've ever been. And I know that I can account that because of sound healing. I sit with sound every single day, multiple times a day. For me, it's like, it is my life. And so for the everyday person, maybe you're not going to be in sound as frequently. However, the health and the recovery process and the healing properties that come with it, it is miraculous. And it has saved my life. I know that for a fact. through and through to my bones. I know that sound has saved me. So, and it's not just sound. So we can't just say like one modality is going to repair everything in our life, right? We are holistic beings. So breath work's not going to be the answer, end all be all. Sound is not going to be the end all be all. Yoga, meditation, eating clean, doing a lot of these things all together is going to be the beautiful formula and equation for you. And just getting curious about what your body likes, what feels good to the body, and extracting the things that are out of alignment for your body. So when people are listening to this and they hear like sound saved my life, and then they just dive into sound and nothing happens, I'm just forewarning you that it does take a little bit more than one modality. It is a holistic approach. We are multifaceted, layered people, and it requires multiple different modalities to feel whole and complete.
I love the depth that you went into on that, because I feel like it can be actually very easy to fall into this belief of it's just this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think actually a lot of times, especially when we're like looking around on social media, if you are hearing people talk about something and like that's their zone of genius and that's what they're selling, the way that they talk about it can start to almost be maybe not consciously deceptive, but it can be deceptive and misleading to someone. So I feel like the way that you just explained that was like so conscious and in ecology. And so I feel like I just want to say, like, recognize that and thank you for sharing it in that context. So on this journey through becoming a full on to your soul level medicine woman, embracing sound and all the clients and the people and the human beings that you're shifting and changing along the way, there had to have been a super expander, someone who opened you up in a way that, I don't know, maybe even came out of nowhere, might have even blindsided you. I'd love to hear your super expander story.
Gosh, it is so difficult to pick one, right? Because, and I'll say it this way, is that in different seasons of my life, there have been different expanders that I needed in that moment. And then I evolved and I grew, and then it was another person and maybe another experience, and not even a person, but a way of being, right? So it is so difficult to name just one person, but I will point out a few people that are through and through expanders for me in seasons in past and currently right now. And a few of those are Lindsay Schwartz with Powerhouse Women. I know that you know her. She is incredible. She is what got me through COVID. I opened up into new ideas and ways of business because of her. And there was consistency and just the value that she added into my life and continues to add to my life, huge expander. And when I'm going into a new expansion in business, even currently, she'll be like, that's cute, do more. And I'm like, okay, you're right. So she's like a cheerleader and supporter of mine. And likewise, I'm a cheerleader and supporter of hers and everything that she does. So she really opened me up. And Aisha Marshall, oh my gosh, dear friend and soul sister through and through. And she's somebody who I've been able to go to and not be afraid to share ideas, in that either I'm going to lose it, right? Or I'll call her crying and be like, I don't know if I can do this. And she's like, yes, you can. You have to, actually. You don't even have a choice. Like, we need you to do this. And so she's pushed me when I'm on my edge, which we all need somebody who helps us fly off the cliff, right? Like I'm just standing there, my arms are waving like I'm falling, and she's like, push, here you go, free fall. So she's been huge for me. And my ride or die, Sarah Chambers, she has a marketing and branding agency, and she, from day one, way back when we worked at a nonprofit together, she's like, Sam, you need to be not doing this. You need to be doing your own thing. And I remember we were in our office and she's like, you should just go coach. And I was like, there's no way. And now here I am, thriving, loving life. Work does not feel like work because of her. And she's just amazing. She's she's seen things for me that I haven't been able to see for myself. And I'm so grateful for her. She'll always be around. All three of those ladies will be around forever. And then, there's been sprinkles of people throughout that have opened my heart. There is just a collection of women that I'm just so incredibly grateful for, that I wouldn't be where I'm at had I not had these beautiful relationships develop. Because one reason or another, but going through the healing of the sister wound and being able to come on the other side and really feel support and love from women in my community. So I'm so grateful for all of the women that I have surrounding me, and the beautiful divine masculines that hold it down too. Like, I'm talking a lot about women, but there's a lot of amazing men who have been in my corner, who have shown me the beauty of men, not the darker sides, but the beauty of support and love and expansion also.
I love that, all of that. And, I have to tell you that this is like a full circle moment, because Aisha was one of my first guests. And
Wow.
she mentioned you on the podcast.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
She did. You'll have to go back and listen to it now. I don't know. I was like, within the first 10 episodes she was on, and she was actually talking about her experience, her sound healing experience
Yes.
with you.
Oh my gosh. Yes. That was a big one.
The first one that she had with you. Yeah. So so here we go. Now everyone listening to the podcast has to go back to listen to that one, now that we have this full circle moment happening right here.
Wow. 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 I'm so excited.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And of course, I love Lindsay as well. She's powerhouse.
She sure is.
She nailed it.
No kidding.
Oh my goodness. So let's circle a little bit back to the sound healing, because I know you're busy. I know we gotta let you get back to being the medicine woman that you are, but you have something that's really, really cool, and it's a way for people to experience sound anywhere, anytime. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about the Sound Vault with Super Expander community here.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for mentioning that. Yes, it's called the Sound Vault membership, and I developed this. It's an online platform that you can get access to sound healing from wherever, whenever, however you need and want. And I developed this about 2 years ago because I was going around to a lot of different retreats. I was playing and speaking, and mostly women would go back to wherever they lived, and they would not have a sound practitioner in their town or anywhere near them. And they had profound experiences. And they're like, how can I get access to you wherever I live? And I'm like, I don't know sound healers where you live in the middle of Oklahoma and Idaho and wherever, And I'm like, people are asking for it. And my goal from the very beginning has been to bring sound healing to the mainstream and it be a modality that everybody knows about and everybody has access to. So, because it is so powerful, it's an amazing modality that really hits you at a core level. And so the Sound Vault is a beautiful place to visit. I have over 25 different sound baths in there currently right now, and I add to it every quarter. So there's new ones in there. There's one for each of the chakras. There's a new moon, a full moon, one for anxiety, one for depression, one for manifesting, one to raise your vibration. You name it, it's in there. And there's always more that I'm adding to it because I get these amazing downloads from Source, and I'm like, oh, I need to add that in. I think there's going to be one coming soon about intimacy. So something for the couples, maybe just in time for Valentine's Day. This is all dropping in right in this moment. So you're hearing it first. But yeah, so please check it out. I have a free sound bath that's available for you if you want to see what it sounds like through the computer or your phone. But I will say this, that people who have experienced me in a retreat or an in-person session, and then they go and listen on whatever device they're listening from, say that they have the same experience. So that tells me that it's working, and I will continue to do it until it's in every single home across the world.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I can attest to that because I've experienced your sound baths live. I've one at Powerhouse Women a couple of years ago, and then you actually played, I think it was James Patrick's, they had you come in, Kelly Patrick, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you played for that one. And then I've, of course, heard your recordings too. So, it's just amazing whether it's in person or virtual or recorded.
Thank
Yeah, that
you.
energy, it transcends.
It does. It does. It goes beyond what we can comprehend and understand. It is viscerally felt, and you feel different from the beginning to the end. I always tell people, like, who you were an hour ago is not who you are now. You're vibrationally and energetically completely different.
Yeah, I'm sure that's so cool to witness too, right? Because you can like literally see it's just like completely changes.
Yes.
So I'll make sure that all of that is easily accessible in the show notes for everyone to find. And since we're talking about show notes, I'll also put all the ways that they can possibly find you. So what are those besides the sound vault? Like how can, if they want to get in your world, to just say hi?
Yeah. I'm very active on Instagram. I'm Sam_E_pants, Sammy Pants on Instagram. And then my website is SamanthaHarper.com. Those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me, see what I'm up to, see when my events are, and just be in contact with me if you have any questions about sound healing or you're curious about what that means, what that looks like, what that sounds like. I would love for you to drop into the space.
Oh my goodness. So go ahead, go follow her, say hi. And because I know there's always just like one more little something in there to share. If you had just like one, whether it was parting words, words that you would give your younger self, I don't know, whatever comes to mind, whatever drops in, what's just one more juicy nugget you'd like to share with the audience?
And I will say this, it's something that I say all the time, but I mean it so deeply, and it's more than what it sounds like. And it is my form of namaste, which is I rise, you rise. So when my vibration and my energy is rising, when I am doing well, when I am thriving, when I have amazing opportunities come my way, when things are rocking and rolling for me, so is that for you. I am just a mirror and a reflection of what is available for all of you. And so when I am rising, know that you are too. And I wish I would have known that when I was younger and not felt envy or jealousy for somebody who was kicking ass, and rather be like, wow, that's an example of what is possible. And so that's my big thing now is I want people to feel inspired by what I'm doing and what I'm putting out there and how I'm serving, for it to be something that they are capable of doing too. So it is always I rise, you rise.
Ah, beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much. This has been such a wonderful joy to have the opportunity to talk to you. My cup feels so full. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, for bringing me into your audience and your community. It has been such a pleasure. Thank you.
We will catch you on the next episode. If you like what you heard, stop, drop, and leave a 5-star review and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. As always, the best way that you can thank our amazing guests is to share your biggest takeaway and then tag us on social media.